What is up, Hodges Outdoors? We got the doe hanging. It's been hanging for a day. So we're going to go through the process of what I do to get this skinned out and quartered out. So we'll take you down the little journey. We've already did the gutting section of the processing. Now we are going to do the skinning and quartering out, and then go back into the house and get the hamburger and tenderloins and do all the processing and the quartering out and getting off the meat off the bone. So we'll see you soon. Hodges up. Alright, so in the processing of this deer, we never want to cut into the hair. When you cut into the hair, you're pushing the hair into the meat, and when you're doing the processing and deboning and stuff and making stuff in the burger, that just pushes all of that hair and stuff into your meat, which is not what you want. So what I mean by cutting it away from the skin, you want to cut away from the skin and right from the meat, so all the hair pulls out. The only time that I might deviate from that is when you're coming up to these knuckles and cutting this hair around this meat, so you can cape the deer down and use gravity to your advantage and pulling that meat down, or that skin downward, to get all that meat out of there. When you're cutting around here, you want to make sure you don't cut into these tendons. Once you cut into tendons, the back side, come around. Once you get to this point, you'll cut around them tendons. If you cut this tendons, the whole deer will drop. So you definitely don't want that when you're hanging it. So you cut around the edges here, and then pull that hair down and that cape, and we'll show you the process in real-time speed. So we'll get busy. There's two glands in here. If you've cut into these glands, make sure you clean off your knives, because if you don't clean off those knives, the rest of your meat will get tainted and taste gamey. So it's a weird, I don't know, kind of looks like a mucus slug in that fat here. So now we're at the tail. So what we'll do is, we've already cut around the meat, part of the tail, and then we'll go in with dikes or shears and clip that tail off. And once we get that tail clipped, we can literally just pull all of the skin and hide clear down to about the shoulders part. And once we get to the shoulders, we'll cut around those front shoulders and up to the neck, and get the rest of the meat off. So pretty quick process. Once you've done this a couple of times, I can skin out a deer probably in 10 minutes if I'm not bothered by a camera. So we'll get to the camera, get you down to the front legs, because it's a little bit tricky, and I'll show you what I do to get the rest of the meat off. So on to the next part. Try to speed through. I literally can grab it and just pull all the way down, all that fat and stuff, that gland, go down with it. Then we'll cut some of that gland out. Alright, so we get a stopping part. What do? We can either take this higher, or typically I'll take it higher so I don't have to bend over because I'm getting old. Anyways, I'll cut holes into these hides. Be like, what are you doing that for? You're in the hide. Well, it's a doe, so I'm not getting it mounted. So all I'll do is grab, push in your elbow, pull that meat all the way down. And then work it down. I'll get you to the front shoulders next. So Alright, now we're at the front legs. What do we do from here? So, long story short, come up to the knee here, where the shank is. We'll literally cut up along the shank on the back side of the leg. Again, cutting out, not in. Hear me a lot. Say that. Cut out, not in. Follow the knee up. Follow that high up. Now, front shoulder's going to be a little bit mutilated. Shot through. Side shoulder. A little forward. Work around the knuckle. We are now down around the neck, so got around the front shoulders. Again, I'm gonna do it up close. When you're cutting around these shoulders, you literally zip it up along here. You can pull pull this apart from the sides, and you just kind of work around this front elbow here. So you work around the front elbow on both sides, cut around here at the base, right at the knuckle, cut around along the neck. Once you get to the neck part, I don't get the meat. Some PIs work off the meat all the way to the top of the head. I don't see the benefit of doing that. You might get maybe a pound off the neck. I don't like neck roasts. Some guys like those neck roasts. I don't. So anyways, I cut it right at the base of the shoulders here, right top of the neck. You take all the meat off. If you got another guy with you that could hold the deer, you can literally snap it off, but I'm doing this by myself, so I'll just take a skill skull, cut this off the head, lop off the head, and then I'll show you where I start with the quartering. My quartering process. Some guys start the front shoulder here. We're probably going to have a little bit of damage to the front shoulder and maybe some of the loin because I shot a little farther up. I don't want to. This is my exit. Front side shoulder. Was quartering too, so it went in here, exit out the top, exit out the back here. So I was pretty much laying on the ground, so the angle's up instead of down. So some guys start at the front shoulders. I disagree with that. I think you screw up the loins. You actually get more benefits on starting here with the loins. Work your down to the front shoulders. You can literally pull that front loin out behind that front shoulder. Once you get the loins out, I take the front shoulders, lop those off. On a bigger deer, I might take some of the rib meat out. This is like a medium-sized doe, so there's not much rib meat in here. Might get some out of that, and then work on your hinds. And the hinds are pretty simple. Once you get the hinds off, you just lop it off here. Be nice and balanced, and that's it. Then we're on to burger and chopping your chops and your loins and your chops out. So we're almost there. So we'll see you soon. How's that? All right, guys. We're at that stage where I was talking about why I started my loins. So we're at that stage where I get a little more bang for my buck instead of starting at the front shoulders like some guys do. But I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we're at the loins part. I can literally take this loin. I'm not going to do it because we're going to waste some meat. But you want I'm kind of tedious with the whole process. I like my loin meat, so it's where you get your bang for the buck. Can't get better. So I take a fillet knife, work along the backside of that ribs, along that backbone. It's almost like filleting a fish. So you'll take your knife, work all the way down, unzip it down through the neck on both sides of the spine, just like you would a fillet in a fish. I don't know if you guys have filleted fish. Once you get that, make your end cut, top of the hips on that back hind, and then work on the back side so you're getting all that good red meat from the loin. And once you get to this front shoulder, in this area of this front shoulder, you want to work behind that front shoulder, and eventually you can literally pull it out. So the guys that just cut it off here at the front shoulder, you don't get that extra, I don't know, 6 inches of meat from that loin. So when you get that meat, that loin that you're missing, you're just going to go in the burger pile. So again, here's the other loin on the other side. It's already been unzipped. So unzipping. Do that. Work down the back of the spine. And I come at the top here. Get your fingers in there. Don't cut your fingers. There we go. And then work around the vertebrae. See all that rib meat? The rib bones? So you know you're getting all the meat off that loin. A little bit of downward pressure, go on the back side, on the ribs. Alright, we're back at that front shoulder. Inside that front shoulder. And once you get to the shoulder and behind it, a little downward pressure. Again, you know, 6 inches of meat. We got the knuckles off. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of damage from my gunshot placement. So we'll work around these front shoulders. There's no ball joint or anything like that, so it's all held by cartilage. So just go on the back side along the ribs here. Get some of the neck meat off there. Use gravity to your advantage. First front hind. Do the second one here. Around the rib cage. Along the neck.